Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is something quite a bit different than anything I've ever done on this channel before, and that's because I am doing a self-critique of my setups for the month of May. I am curious to see if you guys enjoy this style of video. If so, I'll continue to do it. So please give me your feedback in the comments. It would be super helpful. For those of you who are new here, my name's Tara and I make videos about digital planning and some simple ways for getting creative with your iPad. So if that sounds like something that is of interest to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button and even ring that notification bell if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a video. That all being said, let's go ahead and get started. So for starters, I will link all of my Plan With Me's for the month of May up here in the corner, just in case you missed any of those or are curious about any part of my creation process. So what I want to do is take a look at the things that I liked and the things that I didn't like. So for here, I will say that I'm not crazy about this little border down here in the Adventure Awaits sign. It's not that I dislike the sign, I just think in the colors, it doesn't really fit all that well. And I don't know if I love like the sizing and the placement. Just on the whole, not totally in love with it. I really love this washi tape and I'm so glad that I used it. But I can't believe I'm pointing this out and making it a bigger deal. But I really should have taken the time to go in and make this outline here a little bit more perfect. So if you watch the video, you know that I did this outline here with a white pen within Goodnotes. It's not like a sticker that came with this die cut line. So I just kind of drew around it and I didn't take the time to make it very nice. And I was like, oh, it's fine. It's just small and in the corner. But it catches my eye every time and I haven't fixed it, but it bothers me. I should just fix it. I really do like the way that this paint is layered here. I think it's super beautiful and I will absolutely continue to use this method in the future for various parts of my planner. But I think this looks really pretty, especially with these two colors. However, I will say one thing about having this little painted stroke area and the title Ongoing Projects. It feels disconnected from this grid paper down below. And maybe that's also because of the washi tape there. I don't know, but they feel like separate elements as opposed to being, one thing like it was intended to be. And so, I don't know, when I look at this, I just don't love the lack of sort of continuity there, but I do love it on the whole as far as functionality goes. You'll also notice here that these baseballs are not something that you would have seen before. This is something I made a while back in Procreate, like a couple years ago when my nephews first got into baseball. And now my niece plays softball, so this has really just become anytime that there is a game for either of my nephews or for my niece, I am putting one baseball per game. And so you can see May is absolutely crazy. This continues for a while, but there's usually like 10 to 15 games a week. And so instead of me writing down all of the times and all of the locations here and just cluttering up my calendar so I can't really see anything else, I just use this icon and then I know to go check the app or the schedule where their games are kept in my phone. One of my absolute favorite things is how I ended up making this border. So instead of going through and cropping all of these, what I did was I just took one of my background color elements and I just sized it to make a sort of like border that covered up things. And then it just kept it really nice and clean. And I just love that. I think it looks great. This is definitely a hack that I will continue to use in the future, especially if I ever want to make that nice clean border look. So, highly recommend that. That was a great hack. I'll also say that with this ongoing project section, it's not necessarily projects either. For the most part, they are projects that I intend to work on during the month of May, but then a couple of them are just things that I need to sort of check off my to-do list during the month that don't have a specific time. They're just something that need to be done by the end of May. And so they found a home here on this list, and I end up using this list when I go into my weekly Plan With Me's. So let's go ahead and take a look at our weeks. Okay, so I just want to say I don't have a lot to critique here. This is one of my favorites. I have done similar setups for years, and I've done setups kind of like this in other Plan With Me videos, but even years ago in like 2018 when I was bullet journaling and I was writing my own planners, I used setups like this. I loved having my events and tasks in my weekly layout and then a spot to record my meals or my water or things like that. It just really helped me to stay organized and know what couldn't be changed for the day and what could be changed. Now, this is a little bit different than the way that I used to do it in my bullet journal, because when I say tasks here, these are more like scheduled tasks or major things that would go, I guess they'd be considered part of my time blocking for the day, as opposed to like a ton of individual tiny tasks that I'm working on for the day. Those types of things would go on my to-do list in my daily plan with me. But I use this where I look at my month and I input that information here for anything that is scheduled for a certain time and anything that I end up time blocking into my calendar. And so I typically schedule my Monday to Wednesday pretty heavily, and I leave Thursday and Friday for things to trickle in because, maybe I have to take a half day and do something one of those days, and then some of those tasks get moved. I'm a human and life happens, and I understand that. So I try not to overbook my Thursday and Friday or not book myself full, because inevitably, if I book every single day totally full, I'm not going to get my things done for the week. And so you'll see here, I will put check marks on things that I do complete, and then I'll put these little side arrows on things that I'm moving over to the next day or another day that week. And then I'll put X's on things that I didn't end up going to. So for example, I didn't end up going to the game that was at 7:30 that day because I failed at editing my last YouTube video. So I had to spend the whole day doing it. And so it happens. I always love having a habit tracker. That hasn't changed. I can't fault that at all. I really, really love these mushrooms. This is definitely one of my favorite things, and I've thought about copying this concept over into my daily plan with me, but I haven't done that yet, so we'll see. But I do really, really like that. I think it's so beautiful. I love the mushrooms. Now in this area here, you have the freedom to use this for whatever, but what I've ended up doing is I've migrated that list from my monthly layout and I've brought it over here. And then what I end up doing is when I do have free time on these days, or when I can see that one day isn't going to be really filled for my time blocking, I might throw in a couple of these things as scheduled tasks to complete. I don't usually do too much of that, but it is always there. And it's also nice that, as the week comes to an end and also during the weekend, that I can just kind of take a look at this and see where I'm at for the month. Because if I didn't put them here, I would probably most likely completely forget about them. I would not check my monthly setup for these tasks. So I know that about myself. It's just something that I've realized in the past. So leaving this space here has allowed me to keep these sort of random filler tasks that have to be completed sometime during the month front of mind. So I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I'm really glad that I did is I did end up grabbing these pieces and I created an element out of them. And that makes things really nice and easy when it's time for me to put my little memory here, and then I can just move this over. And of course you'd want to cut it and paste it so that it ends up on top, but it's really nice to have it as one element. It just simplifies things. I'd also say normally I am not a fan of this. I've tried this type of heading before and I've always hated it, but I think it works with the camping theme. I don't mind it at all. So I do think this is a win in this case, but just for everyone else's reference, I really hate doing this with pretty much any other theme that I've ever had. So that's just me personally. If you've done something like this and you really like it, I'm very happy for you. And maybe I'll think differently now that I have my new border method that I showed you in the monthly setup. But for now, I have not found any other theme that this has worked for me during, and I am happy with it here. Okay, so time to move on. Let's go ahead and jump to today's date, which is the 17th. And let's just talk about some of the things that I like and don't like here. So I really wish that I had put something here around May. It just looks really boring. It's not very fun. And I don't know, it just needs like those little mushrooms or maybe some of these butterflies or dragonflies or something. And I know there's still time left for me to do it, so maybe I will, but that is definitely one of the flaws in this setup. It just needs something. Something else that I don't typically do is use the star paperclip here to show my dates. So here I can just grab this either as an element or as an image, either way. And I can just move this. And I think it's nice. It doesn't stand out as much as I'd like to, so maybe I would use a darker color, or you could even take your highlighter tool if you wanted and kind of fill it in. And then if you wanted to get it more perfect, come in there with your precision eraser. But it's not a huge deal to me. I'm happy to just leave it not filled in. But if you're also kind of thinking that maybe it just doesn't stand out enough, there's an option for a way to make it a little more bold. Okay, now here's where my real critiques come in. I absolutely hate what I did here. So what I love is that instead of having the numbers here, I've included these cute little map pointers. I don't really know what else to call them. I think it's cute. It's a really nice touch. I like that. What I hate is that each day, if I forget that I did this, this all was made from handwriting so that I can go in and change the color, which I think is brilliant. But as a result, when I erase here, it erases everything underneath. And that is so frustrating. So I did give this tip in my video because I knew that this would happen. And so I ended up creating an element. So now each time that I want to change this, every day, I just move this over and then I erase. And then I come back to my element tool and I just bring this back. And I did the same thing here for this health, work, and relationships part. It works. It's a workaround, but honestly, it was so much better here where I just did the outline of the shape and not the shape fill, because now that there's no shape fill behind this, if you don't know what I mean, for example, if you didn't watch the video, I covered up what was already here. And you can tell that there's no shape fill in this gray because you can see all the elements I added. I added this element, I added this text element here, and then you can see this pink. It might be hard because the contrast isn't great to see on camera, but there's a pink here, and that means that there's no fill. If I moved this piece over, this is all filled in. So I hope that that is clear if you weren't sure what I was talking about here. But because there's no fill, when I go to erase, it's not a problem at all, which is so wonderful because obviously, yeah, if I go to erase some of that edge there, yeah, I do lose that. But if I'm just erasing where the handwriting is, then we don't have any issues and I can do it day after day and I don't have to mess with my elements and moving things out of the way and putting them back. So I wish that I hadn't done that the way that I did, and I wish that I had done both of these the way I did this one. Because if I really do want to change the color, which is what I was doing here, I can just tap on this and I can change the color. And now it's a different color. Obviously it doesn't match, but it's nice to have that freedom to do that. So in short, I love that I have these color changing elements, especially if I just want to swap these in order or something for the day, or if I want to reuse them in the future or save them as elements for the future. But I won't be doing that with these two. I will probably recreate them like this and then use them in the future. Okay. Another element that I'm really glad that we did create was this one. I think this is a lot of fun, and I feel like it showed you guys a way that you can make your own sort of like note paper within Goodnotes, and I think that's really, really nice. So this is made up of two elements. It's made up of a text box and of an image. And then I added these cute little flowers on top. So you could always save these elements together as an element and use them anywhere in your planner, or swap out that background for a different color theme in a different month. And the thing that I really like about that, which I said in my video, is that because there's no handwriting elements to this, I can write on it and erase it, and there's no problem. None of the elements go missing. See? Really simple. I love having this brain dump space. I typically take advantage of it in the evening, and I'll start journaling and just kind of writing down whatever stream of consciousness comes out. Then I have this nice to-do list for putting all the things that pop into my head that I have to do. So this is definitely a lot more detailed than what I would put in my weekly or monthly setups. And then I have this nice grid area, which I'm so glad that I kept. I don't know if I've done maybe any Plan With Me's, maybe one, where I've kept this, and I really like that I did because it's given me more space to list things out. So yeah, I have my to-do list, and yes, I have my brain dump area. So is it really necessary? I don't know, but I have used it a lot, and I've used it for random things that I need to be planning for the future, or packing lists, or ideas that come to my head for podcasts, or like anything. So when I'm just trying to organize my thoughts that, you know, maybe just the juices are flowing that day and I just need to put them down somewhere, I've just kind of been using this space for that. So arguably, I should probably have a better system for recording all of my thoughts, and I do. But sometimes I just really want to put the thing there where it's already in front of me. So when I'm already working in my planner, it's just really nice sometimes to just let the ideas flow. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like that covers everything. I guess I didn't mention this, but I did add these cute little butterflies in here, and I do like that. That was not part of my Plan With Me video, and it was sort of a happy accident. I had a graduation ceremony on the 12th, and so I made a cute little block for that. Sometimes I do that for like everything. I haven't really been doing that this month. I've just been filling things in. But I made that cute little block. So each day since then, when I've been copying and pasting that layout over, I haven't deleted the butterflies. I just decided to kind of scatter them around on my little schedule here. And I think it's a nice touch and probably something that I will consider doing in a lot of future videos, because this area tends to be one that's sort of neglected and just never cute. And I think that's a really nice way to make it a little bit more fun. I also didn't really talk much about this, but I do love having this, despite the fact that I hate the way I created it. I do love having this health, work, and relationships category. And a lot of days it makes this top 3 priorities sort of obsolete, because this is what I want to be focusing on. And usually like I can have one big work task that I'm focusing on for the day, and the rest can kind of go on my to-do list. But there are some days where it's important for me to have these 3 work priorities that I've always had, because it's a system that I'm used to. So today I'm really focusing on this video, but I spent my morning planning the video, now recording the video, and then I'll spend the rest of the day until I go do things with my family in editing mode. So this is a completely focused video day, so I was able to just kind of write that all in one sort of encompassing task as video. But there are other days where I do have some other things that I'm working on, and it's really nice to have those top 3 priorities that are work related specifically. So that's something that I'm not quite ready to say that I would get rid of this part, but there are days that it's just not as important now that I'm prioritizing in this way. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you guys kind of enjoyed getting a little bit of insight into what I liked and didn't like. And I hope that maybe everyone can do this a little bit. I mean, it's great to do this in life in general. We should all be sort of reflecting on what we like or didn't like about what we did, how we could do better. And making this video has helped me to kind of pinpoint some of the things that I will want to use in the future and things that I have learned from or don't want to use in the future. And so even if it didn't help you guys, it definitely helped me, but I do hope that it did offer some value to you guys as well. So please let me know what you think about this, if you'd like to see more videos like this in other months, and I can kind of go through and talk about what I like and didn't like. But as always, I appreciate your feedback, and if there's anything in these Plan With Me's that you have found helpful or not helpful, that's not useful for you or is very useful for you, I'm open to feedback and making this, a channel that really serves you. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You're the best. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. My next video will be about my June sticker release, and I can't wait to bring those to you guys. But until then, happy planning. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.